We should hold a constituency vote about forthcoming bills and amendments. We should take feedback on upcoming legislation and suggestions for amendments. We should make greater use of information technology to keep us in touch with our constituency. If there is a petition of a certain percentage of voters that a representative should raise a matter appropriately in Parliament. Our MP should only be paid the salary plus expenses such as rent for accommodation in London, travel to and from Parliament and the necessary equipment to do the job, such as an encrypted computer. The constituency should be paid separately for secretary, office equipment and expenses to do with the running of the office and for holding public meetings. These costs can be very low if we use such things as open source software. Today in this election, the main political parties are divided by the thinnest of lines, and this is not a true reflection of the feelings of the electorate of the British people. The winning party will claim an overall majority with just over 40% of the poll of those that voted. But there are today over 40% of the nation that are so disillusioned with the corruption that they no longer vote. Therefore, they are governing in reality with a clear minority, not a majority. They are for making policies that are affecting us and we have never voted for. Here's a couple of examples that have recently upset me. The loss of our manufacturing. I've observed with horror over the past 25 years the decline of our manufacturing, our science and technology, and our ability to maintain our place in the world economy. Once we were the cutting edge of so many industries, even helping the Americans to the moon. Think of television, penicillin, radar and the jet engines, to name a few things that we have offered the global economy. Since the Thatcher days, we have seen this legacy thrown away to be replaced by a financial system that has failed us, and failed us grossly. This is because the financiers' greed has replaced our collective ability to look after ourselves and has eventually led us to the broken society we have today. Blair was elected in 1997 to put right some of these wrongs, but what we got instead was a broken dream of conformity enforced through over-regulation. How we are in the hands of the lawyers. Successive governments have made it very expensive to manufacture in Britain today. Where is the agenda that sets out to reduce our costs and make us competitive in the global economy once more? No one is saying this. No one is setting out to reduce the burden of bureaucracy. No one is making it easy to generate new entrepreneurs that we need to increase the private sector again. Here's a case. I recently went to an FSB meeting, and when I told the lawyer present that the safest way to conduct my business was from my home and by contracting all my work out, she nearly passed out. She couldn't see a way of beating me up with health and safety claims, employer liability and the rest of the tranche of legislation you have to comply with just to earn some money on your own. To break this cycle, the only way will be to employ yourself, and it's too expensive and too dangerous to employ anybody else. What message does that send out? Where is the backing for innovative people with good ideas? Whatever people tell you about the global economy, one thing is for certain. We must pay our way in the world. We must make things locally for the sake of the planet as well as the sake of each other and therefore the country. We must shake off the greed of the past 30 years and accept that to live in comfort is enough. This attitude is already changing. Take for example the pottery industry in Stoke-on-Trent as an example. We must create an environment whereby we want to live and work in our great land and where we want to stay here and we're happy here. Happiness can be achieved at a relatively cheap price, but who is happy today under the strain of modern living and the burden of modern legislation? We must also stop selling out our companies. We're leaking money abroad and we should seek to get some of it back to invest in our own country again. Another list of things that concern me: the highest taxes ever. Tax, tax, tax. Why not reduce the individual tax burden so more people can work? Then the tax take can go up and therefore the state makes more money. The raid on pensions by Mr Brown. At this rate I'm going to be working till I'm 70. Selling the gold reserve. What kind of crazy idea was that? Where was the vote on that? Should we have gone into Iraq? Were we asked? Why do we need to fight an expensive war when we weren't directly threatened? Gulf War may have been different as that involved the invasion of a foreign country by another power. But Hans Blix didn't get enough time to find the truth. And if it's such a humanitarian problem, why didn't we go into the Sudan or Zimbabwe? I don't even know if my two mates in Zimbabwe are still alive after all that's gone on there. There's been no national vote about European treaties or commitments. We signed up for trade and ended up with a dream of the United States of Europe. Where did this come in? Where did we get a vote on the Lisbon Treaty? We have had none of these. Defence. Is this issue in safe hands? Regularly today, the Russians still fly over our nation on spy missions by their planes. Can we trust the political parties to keep us safe? And finally, immigration. This is a big issue in certain parts of the country, but not everywhere. But why is it swept under the carpet so that the BNP can take issue with? Why are we so scared of bringing these issues into the open? Has our freedom of speech been so ended? All this leads me to conclude that we must have more say in our national affairs. Modern technology today can be harnessed to give us a proper voice in national